Hello everyone and welcome to our live host webinar. For those of you that are joining us on Facebook, LinkedIn Live and the webinar stream over on YouTube, TikTok and I believe Instagram these days, welcome. You can put your questions in live as we go. This is for hosts. We're going to give you a little bit of information about Pillow Partners. We're going to talk about why you need a host if you do. Most people I think would benefit from a host. Not everyone will, and I want you guys to make that decision after you watch this free training. Do you really need a host? And if you do, to help you, do you really need a managing agent? Do you really need a managing agent? And if you do, guys, how do you pick them? What questions do you ask? So I'm going to bang some slides up and then there's some live Q&A. We have Holden behind the scenes from the marketing team delivering all your questions from all the various platforms. Guys, if you're watching from another platform and you can't ask questions, or you're watching the replay and you didn't get a chance to do your questions live, let us know. marketing@pillowpartners.co.uk and make sure we get that answered for you. So guys, I want to jump right in with the content here. We're going out, it's a Wednesday afternoon, it is lunchtime. So guys, I want to make sure we get maximum value. Let's jump right into it. Any questions come up, Holden, pop them in the chat box. I'll bring them onto the screen. I'll keep them for the end, guys, I think today, and we'll blast through. So guys, this is a host webinar. When I say host, landlord, property owner, service accommodation, Airbnb, short-term rental, apart hotel, guest house, whatever type of property you have, this is for you. So what we're going to cover, a little bit of an intro. Do you even need a managing agent? So I'm going to cover that in a little bit of details, guys. Questions to ask yourself. I am not here to convince you one way or another. Full disclosure from me, I am a managing agent. We've been in the industry doing this for over 20 years now. So I'm not here to convince you you need a managing agent. At Pillow Partners, I think we turn away many times more people than we work with. So we're not here to get your business, but we will tell you a little bit about us as we go. 10 questions to ask a potential agent should you think using a managing agent is a good choice. I'm going to do some live Q&A, guys. I always get a nice little bit of interaction here, so I do like that. And then some freebies for you guys and additional stuff. If you can stay to the end, ask some questions that I get to answer, we will give you some freebies. Why do we do this? I just like some interaction. As I record these live and presenting, I would much rather interact with the audience. So if you're watching on any of the platforms, give me a little comment and I can make it a little bit more interactive. Cool, let us crack on here. So Pillow, a nice one sentence from us. Who are we? Who are we to be talking to you about selecting managing agents? Well, this is my little elevator pitch, my one-liner. The UK's leading social impact short-term rental management company. Well, bit of a mouthful. What does that mean? Well, we're a short-term rental management company. We look after Airbnb, service accommodation, holiday homes, apartments, guest houses, apart hotels, bed and breakfast, that type of thing. Anything that's rented by the night, the month, or the week. We're social impact focused. We've got our own charity. We'll give you some details about that. We want every single stay with Pillow to do good for local communities. You, as a host, can use your property, and we're the best at the UK at what we do for social impact. So that is us in a sentence. I started this business back in 2006. I'm adding that up. That's 19 years as I record this. I've been in the industry for many years before that. Bought my first buy-to-let property at 17, and I think that was back in 1998. So being a landlord, set up the business. Along the bottom is the evolution of the brand. You can see the different things we moved. We had a little office and we moved to one right in the high street. Then we got a much bigger space with an investment centre, moved over, changed the branding in 2016 to Pillow to really focus. People often ask, oh, your branding has changed. We've been doing this 19 years. Branding changes every so often to keep updated with the industry. So we've got local property managers across the UK. I'm proud to say we've not outsourced all our team to overseas people in the Philippines. You can speak to local experts. We want one in each area. As we go through, we'll give you the opportunity to speak to your local property manager. So Pillow is the overarching company. We want local people who know the industry, they know the area, they know the restaurant recommendations, they've been to your property, they can tell your guests about transport links, how to get there, all these things. Very, very personalised service for hosts. And what do we offer? Main services is full management. Think about hands-off. People often say, Scott, well, what do you guys do? What does a full management cover? And for me, it's nice and simple. Give my team the keys and they will do everything. You can retire, you can travel the world, you can play golf, you can look after your family, you can do whatever you want. And we'll just give you your money every single month and take care of everything else. We have a partnership service. This is mostly for people who want to do the check-ins, the meet and greets, be part of it, stay near their property and want to deliver that side of things. But hey, technology is moving on. It's a little bit scary to start integrating channel managers, property management software, taking deposits, all this type of thing. So we will do all the off-site stuff, the technology, the financials, the marketing, the pricing, absolutely everything. But we will work in partnership with you because you as a host can be there on site delivering the amazingness from the guest experience side. So full management, nice and simple, is totally hands-off. Partnership is tailored to you and you can get involved and deliver that face-to-face customer service, guest communications, look after your own property and make that absolutely amazing. And we love the partnership service just because we're two people working together. Another thing the team across the UK will do will be taking empty boxes, empty properties and setting your property up, your property business. We'll take that buy-to-let or a holiday home that you use yourself and we'll set that up as a business. Whether it's a property you're just about to buy, whether it's one that's a buy-to-let you're switching over, or whether it's something you're using yourself but want to transform that into an income-generating business, the team will do this for you. And because we've got access to lots of software, technology, reporting, we can do feasibility studies, financial projections, and lots of different reports. And people use us all the time for mortgage applications, bank funding, business plans, feasibility reports. If you guys see a property and think, will this work for Airbnb serviced accommodation? It's a big risk to take it and work out yourself. The team, the experts will jump in and do that for you and get your financial projections, big business plans. Finally, for that regard services, for us, we don't like to be called a managing agent. For us, nice and simple, we are your business partner. We're joint venture partners. Host, agent, that's a bit of conflict. It's two parties working independently. I like to say we are business partners. Back of the shirt, stronger together is our tagline. It's pretty much on everything, and that is what we mean. We're business partners with you. Our hosts have the properties, we're your business partners. We do everything else. Next. Right. So a little bit of a disclaimer here. These are brand new slides. I put these in today. We are not a budget agent. By that, I mean we're not racing to the bottom. We will be more expensive than probably most of the agents you're speaking to. We don't want to hide that fact. Lots of new entrants into the market, lots of them very, very cheap. And that's not the market we are operating in. We've been doing this for nearly 2 decades. People have looked at our pricing and put their pricing in comparison to the services in the market. So guys, we're not a budget agent, and I want to just make that clear. If someone's looking for agents and thinking, I want the cheapest possible agent, pay the cheapest price, that's probably not a good business partnership for you. And we wouldn't be the best agent for you. Well, who are we looking for? Well, we've had to transform things over the last few years, passed a lot of properties back, 2/3 of our properties from when we started, working with quality hosts. I want to work with people that care about their properties and want to give a really great product there. Treat the team with respect. I want them to provide a great service from start to finish. Although the team will do it, we need you guys on board as property business partners. And you're not in financial difficulty. We need you to be solvent, not not able to buy pots and pans, not able to keep your property looking nice. Imagine going into a hotel and it's grotty, or your beds get stains on it, and that hotel can't afford to change the linen because it's got blood stains or mascara on it. So we really fuss about who we work with, guys. We just want to deliver the best service, and we decided we were going to get rid of most of our properties, work with fewer hosts but better hosts, and really deliver for them. So hopefully that makes sense. Our services, again, well, we focus only on property management. Very boring. I have been very consistent over the last 20 years. Property management is all we do. We don't do sourcing. We don't try and upsell you anything. We're not here to get deals and make money in any other way. We're a 100% commission only business, and we are simply here to get you bookings and make you money and profit. We're not here to sell your deals. We've not got a cleaning company, and we're not here to sell you courses or anything else as hosts. We're not going to be mentors and try and squeeze profit out of you or take more profit by offering rent to rent or trying to sell you deals. The team do lots of things, but they are your business partners. Property management is our core focus. Right, a nice back. I can't talk about Pillow without talking about social impact and our charity. We want to totally transform the way the industry is perceived. The negative anti-Airbnb thing about guests coming in and destroying communities. We do the exact opposite, guys. We want to improve communities with every single stay, and lots of things we do. Safe Havens is our charity. There's some of the fundraising activities. Our properties have got QR codes. We raise funds from guests. We get our hosts, you guys, to donate time in your properties. We put them together and provide funded experiences for those that need it most in society. Loads of amazing things. I don't know if there's lists of who we work with, but yeah. Child poverty, children diagnosed with cancer, women escaping domestic violence, teenage suicide prevention, homelessness, mental health, poverty, lots of things that we do. Team are always out and about. That is Emma and I. We sponsored some children over in Cape Verde off the coast of Africa. Look at that little smile there. That was a photo of the trip for us in the middle. Just gave some people. And guys, thank you to everyone. There will be people watching. The team get involved in this. We did it again at Christmas as well, and we sponsored 30 bags for local children in the community. I think if there's a picture, yeah, you can see it's not the best of communities here. That is one incentive, but collecting food for food banks, giving clothes to the homeless, collecting things for families in poverty, people leaving books, educational stuff, lots of things we do. We encourage our guests to leave things. So we put it in our donation centre. That is a picture, some stuff of Emma and I launching that. That was our donation centre, all the food for food banks, lots of things. Donation, just amazing. So thank you to everyone that is involved in that. Business is business. Business is great, but linking it in with social impact just makes things massively fantastic. Yeah, so here's who we help. Lots of other people as well. Lots of team activities. So guys, as hosts, you are welcome to join us. This is just one little example. We came and did the Kilt Walk in Scotland. That was 23 miles walk. Raised £3,500 for that one, guys. So a super great day. We do that every year. We've signed up for this year again. I best start get training and start walking again. Nice. Right. So this is an important part, guys. I want to start off with the training. Now, that is a little bit about us to tell you who we were. Hopefully everybody watching knows who we are. Anyway, so this is us getting into training. I want to cover, do you even need a host? As I said at the start, this is training. That's talking about Pillow Past. Everything from here on in is content for you guys. And we are a managing agent. That is our principal value proposition. That is how we deliver value to you guys. It's my reason for being. The Iggy Guy book. It's my reason for being, my reason for getting out of bed in the morning. It's adding value to hosts via property management, reducing stress, freeing up time and maximising income. But we don't work with everybody, and we sometimes tell hosts you're actually perhaps better doing it yourself. So here's some things to ponder. I'm not here to convince you one way or another. They're not loaded question, guys. They're just things for you to think if you are considering using an agent. Do you even need one? First thing here is, do you enjoy it? You could do it yourself to save money, but do you enjoy it? Does it make you feel good? Does it make you a better wife, husband, partner, mother, father, friend? Is it something that you love doing? Because guys, if you love doing it, I'll bring this book up again. If it's your ikigai, if it's your reason for being, if it's your purpose in life is to deliver that amazing property management and hospitality experience, then you might consider doing it yourself. Yes, you might lose some money. You might have lots of work and extra things to do. But if you thoroughly enjoy it and it's a part of who you are and what you want to deliver to your business, your family, then actually consider doing it yourself. If you're going to take a big chunk of enjoyment away just to make more money and take that work away by giving it to an agent, you definitely want to consider keep doing it yourself. Next one for me is, do you have time? Never underestimate how much time this can take. Being on call 24/7, Christmas Day, evenings, weekends, your anniversary, Valentine's Day has just passed. Are you happy? Not just being on call for the guest, but you really need to be on point with algorithms and Airbnb responding to these messages very fast. Otherwise, Airbnb will punish you. So if you've got one property, you're going to be in call quite a lot of that time. If it's a short-term rental Airbnb market, you need to be on the ball. So do you have the time to do this? And the next one, question to ask yourself is, what could you do with that spare time? Guys, if you did have the time, but what could you free up with that time? What could you dedicate your time to? Would that be spending more time with family? Perhaps getting fit? Perhaps working on your golf game, working on another business, acquiring more properties, relaxing, doing money, earning money elsewhere, setting up. I'm going to use the term side hustle here because I heard it this week. Apparently side hustle is a really horrible phrase for people my age and above. It's cringy. So younger people like side hustle, but what could you do with that free time? And this leads you to the next question. How much more could you make working on your main thing? What do I mean by main thing, guys? Well, if your main thing is an architect or a doctor or a solicitor, and you could earn £100 an hour, and it takes you 10 hours a month to manage your Airbnb, well, that's £1,000 of your time. So you need to get a whiteboard or a bit of paper very much like this. And start charting your time. What's your annual salary? And break that down into hours. And then allocate a time per hour, a cost per hour for your time. Let's say it's £50. Well, if that's taking you 10 hours a week, that's £500. What could you earn? Could you earn more than £500 doing your main thing? Think about that. Or making something else into your main thing. Are you losing money by managing your own property? You would think we've been cost efficient doing the cleaning and the management of it, but actually if we went and did a couple hours overtime, we'd make 10 times the money than we'd save in management fees. Does that make sense? It's a thing a lot of people get caught out with. Yeah, I'm saving money, but actually saving money by cleaning your own property, forget letting agents, people cleaning their own property, it takes them 3 hours plus an hour and a half traveling time either side to get there. If it's remote, then that's 6 hours. And they think they're saving 70, 80 quid in cleaning fees, but it's costing them £200, £300 because they could make that in their principal job. That makes sense, guys? Just don't underestimate that. Could you make more than the fee an agent would charge? Let's explain that. So, in your main thing, if you're getting £100 an hour, you're doing this to save £300 a month in management fees. You've been a very shrewd business person. You're not paying the agent those management fees, or you're cleaning your own properties. Is it just, would you make more money by letting the agent do it? You're saving 200 quid in management fees, but are you making more money than the agent would? I think that leads us to the next one. Guys, do you have the necessary skills? If you've been if you're one of these long-term, old-school holiday home owners and operators, you've been in the Lake District or the Peak District, Bakewell, Devon, Cornwall, Bailey, all these places. You've been doing it for 20 years, guys. You will have the necessary skills. You'll have everything in place to do that reasonably well. I'd say 90% of people that we come across are brand new, switching from buy to let, or they've done a 2-day course or watched a webinar similar to this and think, well, I can compete with an agent of 5, 10, 20 years. And guys, do you have the skills to do this? And I don't mean a 2-day course. I mean years and years of experience. So if you don't have the skills and you want to learn it, and that's why you're doing it, that's absolutely fine. And we talk about property education, and one of our core values is Kaizen, which is continuous improvement. Again, a great Japanese principle. A lot of people that we say, go and manage it yourself. Go and manage it yourself for 6 months to get that experience. See how hard it is. You'll appreciate your agent more and you'll learn some things. And then that makes you a better business partner. But if you've just done a 2-day course, it's touching the surface, it's tip of the iceberg stuff. There's a lot more to this. To get it right and maximize your income and systemize your business than what can be taught with a little bit of training over a webinar or a few days. So if you have the skills, you may not need an agent. If you don't have the skills, you're probably better using an agent. But if you want to learn, guys, and make that as part of your journey, your Kaizen, your continuous improvement, then guys, work with your agent or do it yourself and see if it's right for you. You can give it a go. Are you more skilled or experienced than an agent? Well, people say, I'll manage my property myself, Scott. Would you be more experienced than one of our local property managers? If I use this little thing as our property managers across the UK, or would you be more experienced than somebody that's been doing this for 5 years full time? That's their full-time job. They might manage 70 properties. And that's what they do day in, day out. They've got systems, all the backup of an agent. Would you be able to outperform them? Think about that. It's down to the individual agent, the individual company, and your skills. But are you going to do better? You're going to outperform that person that's a career professional at it. Do you have all the best technology? Guys, lots of technology these days. When you start a management company, it scales up dramatically with what you need to manage other people's properties. But with other people's properties in bulk, allows us to get some of the best technology there is on the market. We deliberately use industry-leading things so that we have the best tech. And a thing not integrating correctly, your channel manager, not integrating or being a strong enough connection or a partner with Airbnb, penalizes you, doesn't get the same. You could get double bookings, your pricing won't work. So guys, technology is massive. Many years ago, you could have just got a direct booking website and used a paper and pen. Very much more advanced these days, guys. So technology is going to play a major factor as your properties progress. Lock boxes and just normal things in properties wasn't that sophisticated to run a holiday let. Now we've got lots of things, Internet of Things, key codes, integrating with all these platforms, check-in things, noise monitoring, all these different things. We're going to need to have some level of technology to integrate them and give the guest an experience that's going to get them coming back and giving you a 5-star review. Nice one. Are you happy with your booking levels from the last 12 months? So if you're looking and saying to me, Scott, I was at 90% occupancy. I could not have squeezed an extra penny out of my income. I maximised my income. Fantastic. You might not need an agent. Remember the 3, if I use us as an example, the 3 value propositions to our hosts: maximise income, reduce stress, and free up time. Well, we've spoken about time, a little bit about stress. Well, if you enjoy it, it's not stressful and you've got everything running perfectly. But the first one is maximise income. Look back and think, was I happy? Making the assumption that an agent could have done better but would have charged you a fee. Then look and think, is there capacity to get more bookings? Could someone have done better? And that's no indication in the future, but I want you to think back. If you're 100% happy with your bookings and you believe next year, if you believe 2025 is going to be as good or as bad as 2024 and previous, then guys, you might not consider an agent. If you're happy doing it yourself and making good money just because you've got things spot on, you might not need to pay an agent. Next step on that was us. I was historically looking. We're now looking into the future. Are you happy and confident with current and future bookings? If your diary is looking cracking and it's as strong as it's ever been in the last 20 years, then that is fantastic. I can tell you from across the forums, I'm in hundreds across the UK, big ones, small ones, regional ones. There are people that have done fantastically well for 15 years and now really, really worried and struggling. Now, some properties will do well, some properties will book all day long with minimal work, but I think as we record this in February 2025, a lot of market saturation, lots of people entering and taking them buy-to-lets, competing with inferior products, lowering their prices, which is lowering the occupancy levels and nightly rates of many hosts. And how there's turbulence in governments and this, budgets and things happening, businesses shutting left, right, and centre because of tax changes and lots of things, people are a little bit more cautious. So are you happy? Are you content that you're going to maximise your income and nobody can beat that over the next 12 months? Because if you are, you consider not using an agent. Would you like more direct bookings? So having a full calendar is one thing. I saw a thing, and if you check my social media, it was someone giving advice that you only need to be on Airbnb. It's a gimmick to market your property anywhere else. And I had a problem with that, and I think that's really, really poor advice. And I'm happy to hear the other side of that argument. But someone's saying you should just rely on Airbnb, and it's a gimmick, it's a con to advertise anywhere else, and Airbnb is enough. I don't believe is true, and I don't believe they've been genuine in that answer because they'll have something to sell. So, guys, having a full calendar is great, but are you paying big chunks of money for customer acquisition costs? Are you paying money to Airbnb, Booking.com, big corporate sites like Silverdoor? So would you like more direct bookings? Very hard to get direct bookings strategically, that rhythmic thing coming in every month of direct bookings if it's not your main thing. If you're one person with one property, guys, it might be that, hey, we need to rely on online travel agents, we need to rely on Airbnb and Booking.com, and that's fine. But when you look at your end of year accounts and project for this year's profit and loss, how much money are you paying to Airbnb, Booking.com, etc. for bookings? Would you like more? And talk about direct bookings in the Q&A. I'm not going to go into that, but an agent should get you more direct bookings. Bear in mind, not all agents do this. Most agents will just bang it on Airbnb and replicate what you're already doing. So they need to have a strategy in place. We'll cover that in the next section. So is anything going to change in your life moving forward? You might not need an agent now, but you might in the future. What could happen in your life that means I might actually just start building a relationship, start looking at potential agents, even though things are peachy just now? Well, you could get a promotion, which means you could need to do more hours. You could be getting married, you could be getting divorced, you could be starting a family, you could be moving away. Many, many different types of things that would change in the future. We had one landlord that was with us for 8 years, and he then bought a holiday home, and I was trying to get him to manage it, and he said no, my wife likes cleaning it. And then she had a little change in circumstances, and for 3 years I tried to get this property, and every time you come in every month, not giving you, I'm managing it myself. And then 3 years later he handed the property because their circumstances had changed, and I asked what changed, and the fact was we're having a family. So the family thing changed. They wanted to do it themselves. Change of circumstances meant, hey, this is no longer a good fit. I want to focus on my young new baby. I don't want to be cleaning holidays and waking up the baby by dealing with phone calls from my Airbnb. So what would happen in the future? And maybe it's worth starting a conversation with an agent. So guys, I'm finishing up this section with Iggy Guy. For him that watches it, we show this book all the time here, guys. Is this your purpose? Does it give you fulfillment? Does it make you feel good? We mentioned all the forums previously, hundreds, and it is just mostly short-term rental operators moaning about a guest not being able to work a check-in code and spending, I don't know, which seems like half an hour a day moaning about their guests, screenshotting messages, low energy stuff, guys. That is not the way to lead a life. We're in the hospitality business. If you are not enthused by this, and if you're just constantly moaning and bitching on forums, I'm not saying you guys are, but imagine leading your life like that, jumping on and getting frustrated that a guest didn't empty the bins, or a guest didn't answer a message, or smashed a glass. Not a life to be leading, guys. It's not worth it. If it's not your purpose, your reason for being, you may want to outsource that. Fantastic. Excellent. Right, here is Emma in. Emma is the second in charge, Chief Operations Officer. I'm glad she's here. Just to get some good news, delighted. Emma's found her passport, which we've turned the house away for 3 days. Look for, where was it?
It was in a bag that I looked at.
Okay, right, okay. We're meant to be going on a business retreat tomorrow. We needed to jump on a plane, and we cancelled everything. We're now going to rebook things. So Emma can go and book someone else's Airbnb in Alicante. So Emma's here for a Q&A if you have any questions for Emma. Emma's a Glasgow property manager. She looks after Glasgow and beyond and trains all our other property managers. Second in charge of the business, amazing operations officer, transformed it since she came into the business and my life. But I'm glad she's found her passport.
Me too.
Good. So we cancelled everything to go on this retreat tomorrow. We now need to go and pack a bag and go and get more accommodation.
And get dogs to daycare.
So I'm not going to let Emma go and do that. And I will
shout if there's any questions.
Do some business stuff. So I will jump on and get some questions. And that is fantastic news. Now we're going to go and spend some time in someone else's Airbnb apartment in Alicante. So we always like to book things when we're away, use other people's apartments. One, to give small hosts, not our customers when we're overseas, the income, but also test, see what they're doing, see what we can make. Kaizen, continuous improvement. We look at everyone else's systems and procedures and see how we can bring that back to Pillow, even from overseas. Right, there's Emma, delighted, fantastic. Let's move on to the next segment. Right. By now, you'd say, if you've answered all those questions and thought, I don't need an agent, that's absolutely fine. That is a decision. You can reevaluate that periodically, guys. If that's something that's going to change, as we said in one of the last slides, have your agents there that you want to build a trusted relationship with. But if you're in that process of selecting an agent, my 20 years experience here, guys, of being an agent, I've picked agents as well, because if I had properties and buy-to-lets in areas I didn't have a team, I would use an agent. I would not hesitate. I wouldn't be managing my own properties. I would always give it to an agent, even if that was my competitors. If my team didn't operate in that area, I had properties overseas, I would be using an agent. And I'm an agent of 20 years. But I would know how to select agents because I am one. So let's have a look at some of the questions to ask, guys. I'm going to rapidly go through these. So how long have you been a managing agent? Ask them this, guys. How long have they been in the industry as a managing agent? And I've been very clear with my terminology. I want you to write this down as a question. How long have you been a managing agent? That's totally different to how long have you been in the Airbnb industry. People will always answer, oh, I've done this for 5 years. When the truth is, I've been a managing agent for a year. There's a difference between being an operator and being a manager. It doesn't matter how long they've been an operator. It's how long have they serviced other people's properties. So very specifically here, guys, make sure that you ask how long they've had a managing agent. When was a company set up? When was the first property that they managed for other people, not their own stock? Because managing property for other people is worlds apart from looking after their own units. And I've seen people burned with this before. Oh, but God, they said they've been in the industry for 5 years, when they've been a landlord for 4.5 and their Airbnb profile is 2 months old. So check, how long have they had in it? How long has that Airbnb profile been up? When was the company registered? When did they start managing properties for other people? Next question to ask a potential managing agent for serviced accommodation. How many units do you manage for other people? Very important question with the terminology I've put. Not how many properties do you have in your portfolio? How many properties do you manage? How many properties do you manage for other people? Again, people have been burnt thinking, well, this agent managed 30 properties. I thought they were experienced, but 28 of those properties were their own rent-to-rent properties and properties they owned or controlled. They only had a handful of clients, i.e. they're managing their own stock and they've not really got a managing agency. They're just doing that as a sideline. So how many units do you manage for other people? I'm not saying a big company that has hundreds of units is necessarily great. There's some horrible companies with thousands of properties. There's some amazing companies that are solopreneurs, that just a boutique management agent that have 20 properties and get a really personal service. But you want to know, do they have any of their own units that are in conflict to yours, guys? And this is the next question. Do you have any of your own properties? Again, people have been burnt in the past using an agent, and they've said, why am I not getting bookings? Because 50% plus of the properties in that agent stock were their own, and every time they get direct bookings, they'd funnel it into their properties. Now, I'm generalizing here, guys. I want you to ask the question to yourself. If a managing agent has 0 properties that they manage, there's no conflict of interest. By the way, Pillow has no properties. We don't manage our own units. Very clear, we don't have any conflict of interest because we have no units. Our value proposition is management of other people's properties. But if an agent said, well, has 75% of their stock is their own properties, and they get a big £50,000 booking for wind farm operatives or a doctor or a production company, and they basically have the option. Do I give them that to you, the host, and they get 10% of it and their property may stay empty? Or do they put that direct booking for that year or 2 years into their own property? It's a choice the agents that manage their own properties as well as yours need to make, guys. And I'm not saying they will or won't put it in, but I just want you to be realistic. Would they take that guaranteed booking that came in to their email or phoned up or they met at networking? Would they put them in yours for like 10%? Or would they put them in theirs for 100% of the money? Remember, it's theirs, there's no management. They're only getting 10, 15, 20% management fees. I'm not saying either way, I just want you to think about that. So if there's an overwhelming amount of properties that are owned by the managing agency, there will be a conflict of interest, and I don't think it's something you just want to get involved in. How many people are in your team? Not overseas VAs. And again, all we're doing here, the size of the team doesn't matter, guys. It doesn't matter if you've got hundreds of staff or 2 staff. That should be the thing to select an agent. But you guys want to make an informed decision here. You want to look at that and say, I want to know an accurate representation of the company that I'm putting my probably biggest investment, my biggest thing that I own into their trust. And if they're saying, well, I've got 20 staff to service you, but 18 of those are overseas VAs. Remember, VAs in the Philippines will never have been to your property. English is not their second language. They don't know things about the UK. By the way, we used to have some overseas VAs because the time zone is absolutely amazing in the Philippines for answering things at nights. But guys, if they've got part-time Filipino VAs, and I'm telling you they've got 10 staff, but it's a UK solopreneur on a phone, it's massively different. One person on a mobile in the UK is different to having a team of 5 people working. We call it the customer experience, guest experience, so CX. We've got a CX team, customer experience team. You want to get an informed decision. Doesn't matter the size of the team, because you may want to use a small local agency with only a few properties to get that personal service. You may want to use a national company because you've got properties scattered about. But be very clear when you get the answer. Don't let people bamboozle you and bullshit you that I've got 10 staff when they're part-time working for a couple of hours a day and the other side of the world, never been to UK. English is not their first language. They don't know anything about the customs and culture or anything. They're just reading off a script. There's a massive difference between that and somebody with a team of people in the UK that they're especially local property managers. Next question, where did you learn short-term rental management? Again, you might feel comfortable asking this or not. Many people we see it in the forums. Oh, I've just done a 2-day course. I'm thinking of doing management as a strategy. Never been in the Airbnb serviced accommodation market, jumping into being a managing agent. Being a letting agent, guys, when I started off, I predominantly did lettings back in 2002, worked for residential letting agents. It was before the time of serviced accommodation, well before Airbnb. There wasn't a term for what we did. It was holiday lettings. I worked for other agents, learning it off them, and set up my own business in 2006. And that's 19 years been learning it. So learned it from other agents, learned it from myself, courses over that 19 years. So my experience of short-term rental management is 19 years. As my business owner, managing for other people, and working for 4 years for someone prior to that. So safe to say I'm in a position that has some authority and experience on the topic. Now, I'm not saying somebody that's been in it for a few years isn't a good fit for you, but you want to be very clear that it's not a marketer. It's not someone that's off a 2-day course that's setting up a managing agent. It's not someone that's new into the industry that's managed their own Airbnb units. Very tempting, actually. It's not a criticism at all. Very tempting for people that are doing well in rent to rent or property sourcing to try and do an end-to-end solution and jump into management. And not a criticism at all, but it's a very tempting thing because you get monthly recurring income. You take a percentage. You don't need properties. It's very tempting for people with little knowledge to do management, especially if there's other financial constraints. I think, well, I could tack on management as the end, as a little sideline. So I think that would take me to my next question. So yeah, just make sure they've got experience in managing other people's properties. And where did they learn? Not bad thing that they've had a coach or a mentor, but where did they learn their craft? Again, if you're wanting a brickie, oh, well, my uncle taught me out the back every Saturday for a few years. Or I've done a full apprenticeship and went to college and university, get signed off, and I've been employed for 10 years as a brickie. That's the difference. Next question to ask a potential service accommodation managing agent: who will be managing my property and answering guest calls? So who will ultimately be taking care of me? As a host, do you want your own personal property manager? For our team across the UK, you'll get their direct number right to their mobile and their direct email address. You can contact us here at HQ, but essentially you will get the direct phone number and email that you can contact at any time for your personal property manager. They will have breaks and evenings and weekends and have dinners and be putting kids to bed, so I'm not going to answer your phone at 4 in the morning for a host, because you never need to contact them. But the person managing your property will have been there, they'll know about it, they'll know the ins and outs of it, they'll know where the key box is, they'll know restaurant recommendations, travels, all these things. And they'll be answering the calls during the day. For us, we've got a UK team, we'll be answering. It goes so that if the phone goes to 5 rings, our team will pick it up. And that is call centre guys that might not have been to your property, but guests that have pre-booked and have asked questions, they will contact your property manager direct. But who will be answering your guest calls? Very tempted, by the way. Booking.com did it. 2,500 staff, banged them to overseas call centres. Very cost-efficient business model to just bang Filipino VAs and that have never been to the UK. So who is managing your property when guests phone up? Who's answering the phone calls? It should be important to you. How long is my initial contract? Again, you just want to clarify the terms. If you're looking for a serviced accommodation managing agent, you just want to be very transparent about the contract that you're entering into, guys. So look at the exit things, look how long the contract is, not because that agent might not work out, but your circumstances might change. So you want to be very clear and open and have a conversation. What if this doesn't work out? What if my circumstances change? What if your circumstances change? How do you get out of that contract should you want to exit? Important question. Next question is about technology. What property management system, dynamic pricing software do you use? These guys should be plugged into the best stuff, guys. If you're managing your own properties, you can do whatever you want. It's your properties. But when you're managing properties for other people, especially if you're charging a premium and charging high management fees, you want to have the best technology on the market. It's just disrespectful to save money on technology so that you don't need to pay them to squeeze a little bit extra profit. You need the best tech because it integrates with portals like Airbnb. It just works better, works the algorithms, you'll get more bookings. So you want to make sure your agent has at least good technology. And if they're a little solopreneur that can't afford it yet, that's absolutely fine, guys. I was there many years ago, and nothing but respect to the small solopreneurs building businesses. So you may want to take someone that doesn't have that technology. Many of our clients took chances in us when we used technology in the early days when we couldn't afford the best stuff. So no criticisms to him that does have, say, poorer technology, can't afford the good stuff. If you're banking them being your business partner long term and they're just looking to build. So shout out to all the small solopreneurs out there that are building businesses, because they're worth a shot as well. Is property management your only main business? Is this a side hustle or another way just to get money in for your other businesses? As we'd said before, Pillows, the only thing we do is property management and property management related activities. Some people have cleaning companies and then think, well, I could get more properties to clean if I set up a management company. They've got a sourcing company. They do rent to rents. Many new companies set up are sourcing companies and think, I can offer an end-to-end solution. I can source it and get a fee. I can clean it and get a fee. Then I can do some mentorship and training and get a fee. And I can also manage it at the back end and just maximizing those multiple streams of income. And again, it's taught in textbooks, taught in universities and MBAs, getting multiple streams, getting the customer to buy more products. But guys, is that a side hustle? Used the term side hustle earlier. Is this just something they're doing? Is it new? Is it a tack on to some other business? Jokingly saying, I've heard many times hosts say, the cleaner gets more profit. The only people that make money in service accommodations is those damn cleaners because it's so expensive. And sometimes a cleaning company will make more than a management company. I see the statement, sometimes that's true, off-peak. Cleaning company generate a lot more money than a management company sometimes. So very tempting for cleaning companies to get more cleaning by setting up management companies. Again, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying it's a little bit of a conflict of interest, a red flag for me personally, as long as you're happy with that and you know that they're doing other activities. And property management's a little bit of a sideline. It's not the main thing. Or they've got other activities. It may be beneficial and it's synergistic to your property business. But you want to be fully informed of that and their other activities where resources maybe and attention may be drawn towards. A little bit of technical things here. Do you have a separate client account? You need to ask your managing agent this. Do you have a ring-fenced client account? Guys, I don't mean just setting up a secondary account in your tide that holds this money. It needs to be designated by your bank. You need a certificate and it needs insurance and everything. It needs to be a ring-fenced designated client account by a mainstream bank. Quite hard to get in a lot of instances. I'm glad we've had them for 19 years. Even with changing bank accounts now, you need to go through a lot of hoops to get that client account. I don't have the certificates here, but guys, a client account is massively important. Your money needs to be segmented and it needs to be ring fenced, and that means that the HMRC can't just go in and take it if that company goes insolvent. The bank can't take fees out of a client account, and it should all be totally separate. Every single client money that they get from Airbnb.com, credit card payments goes into a separate account. And if it's all lumped into a business account, there's no way of knowing that. So you want to at least inquire about that. The next question to us, service accommodation management agents, do you have the right insurances in place? Do you have an insurance policy for your client money and for your deposits? Are you putting the deposits in the right place should you need to, and do residential lettings as well? Do you have professional indemnity? Can you sue them for stealing client money or doing something wrong? Is there a legal policy there that you can actually claim negligence in their behalf or for mistakes? Hopefully you'll never need those, guys. Never ever needed insurance or claimed insurance. Never ever happened once to us. I don't think it happens a lot, but I think insurance this day and age for your biggest asset, your most important thing in your life, probably apart from your principal home, your biggest investment is probably your holiday home or service accommodation portfolio. At least ask them. Guys, if they don't have it, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'd suggest 50% of agents don't have it. People starting off as solopreneurs, just saving costs. I'm just saying you want to be aware. You don't want to be in a position where you think, I can't make a claim against them. I can't sue them for negligence. There's nothing else that will happen because they'll just fold a business. You want to make sure that it's there and pick the agent that's right for you. And guys, all of this isn't about pick and pillow or any agent. It's about finding what is the right business partner for you. What do you have in place to generate direct bookings? We'd said this before. Popping it on Airbnb and Booking.com, essentially they're co-hosts. And that should not command a very high management fee at all. If all they're doing is co-hosting, you can do that yourself. They're only managing messages. What are they doing day in, day out to get direct bookings? Now, it may be that they don't do anything because they're a co-hosting business. And anything with B&B in the name will be a co-hosting business, helping you with your profile and your guests' messages. Absolutely fine, but it's two different business models. So generating direct bookings, although doesn't work for every property and doesn't work at certain times of the year, can't be guaranteed. I want you to ask, do they have things in place? Is this a part of things they do training on? Is there resources allocated to getting their guests direct bookings? Next, can I visit your office and meet some of the team? Not a necessity all the time, really, not a big thing. If you don't care that they're all overseas and it's person working from the dining room table, it's absolutely fine, but you want to be aware of who you're working with. Lots of fancy videos out there, lots of fancy marketing, and it's sometimes people working from the dining room table that are appearing to be big nationwide companies with a massive team, but it's just a couple of VAs. And by the way, most agents, we should be honest about this. They say, hi, it's me from my dining room table and I employ 3 VAs. I've got a very lean business and I can give you really cheap management fees because of that. So most people will be open, but I would ask, I would want an office I could walk into and meet the team. Have they signed leases in that office? Have they been there for a long while? Is there a team that's been with them? Think our longest staff member You see Kim, it must be, I don't know if it's 13 years, but Kim's been with me 13 years. Kat has been with us 12, and if they're watching, they'll correct that, maybe longer. And we've been in our offices for a long time. So we're here, been here for 19 years. We'll be here 19 years to come. But is there a space where these guys can you go and meet the team, make sure it's all as they say it is? And by the way, not to say it's bad if they don't have an office and they all work from home. That's the way the world is these days. But it is nice to know that, hey, there's an office and a team there. They can build the culture. They can do training together. So I've put this slide up from Warren Buffett. The price is what you pay. Value is what you get. And all these questions to ask a managing agent, I haven't put up on the screen, guys, how much are your fees? Because I think that's the least important of all the messages and the 10 questions we've asked previous that I've told you to make sure you find out the information on. Price is the last of these. Whether it's 10%, 15%, or 20%, I want you to see the value in that based on all the questions you've just asked. The price is the least important thing here, guys. I want you to look at this as getting a strong business partnership. I don't want you caught up, oh, this guy's 18%, this guy's 16%, and he'll knock 0.5% off if I bring another property on. This is the last question you ask. Obviously, if you don't perceive it as value based on everything, if there's two companies and one has everything as a positive and they're great and they're going for 10 years, they've got staff, they've got everything, the best technology, but they're charging 20%. The other guy's new, they've got nothing, it's just him and a mobile phone from his granny's basement, and they're charging 8%. Don't go with the 8% one, go with the one that's the most value to you. If your principal buying decision is the cheapest agent possible, then go with the cheapest agent possible. It's false economy to pick cheap agent fees, guys. But if that's more important to you than making money, if cheap fees is more important than gross net profit, then you probably want to evaluate that, but go with the cheapest agent. So price, I haven't put up on here. It's not a question to ask an agent. Find it at the end. And if they've answered positively to all those questions, then some hosts don't even ask us the price. Listen, I saw your stuff. I've met your team. I love what you guys do. I've spoken to other agents, just set me up. And there's people we've had for 5-6 years, never once asked the price before they joined us. And those guys do very well. So don't get caught up in the price, guys. Go for the one that you perceive as the highest value that's going to do the things that you need most. For us, maximize income, reduce stress, and free up time. Pick the agent that you think is the best business partner for you. Probably not price dependent, probably culture of the business, the people behind it, your property manager, and other factors, but price should be the least important thing. Hopefully that makes sense. Guys, that's us to the end of the training. We're going to open that up for a Q&A. Holden's pulling all the questions in from the various places. I want to give you the next steps, guys. If you're interested in an agent, we've got lots of free checklists, lots of free resources. Don't have them here. You can fill it out. It's editable PDFs to measure agents against each other. So lots of cool things we can give you for free. The marketing department prepare all these. We've got host liaison managers. We've got 3. We've got Edith in Scotland. We've got Liz for the north of England, and we've got Richard for England. I think we might have a 4th now because these guys are busy. You can book in a slot with them. They'll get your details. The host liaison managers will give you the rough details about Pillow, the fees, give you the high-end questions. Then they'll send you over to your local property manager who know about the areas. And then agree terms, get it set up and launch your properties. All very simple, guys. I'm not going to get into too much detail there. There's a really lovely process to inquire. Just get in with our host liaison managers whose job it is to get your details and hook you up with the right person. And if they feel that it's not a good fit, they'll tell you that. If it's not going to be a good business partnership and we can get that, we will be honest in that. As we say, we turn more people away at Pillow. And if we can't, if it's not a good fit for us, we will recommend you to one of our other local companies or one of our competitors, and we'd rather give business to someone and advise you the next best person after Pillow that could take care of you. So always happy to give our competitors, give you guys a little hand by recommending competitors. Right, lovely. So we're going to come on to some live Q&A here, guys. This is the interactive part. I can pull the questions in. Let's get rid of that. I'll pull the questions in and I'll rattle through these. So that, guys, at the end of the training, if you want to hear the Q&A, then please stay tuned. But if you want to jump and you don't need the questions answered, then, guys, thank you very much for your time. Hope you found that valuable. I have rattled through that, guys, hopefully giving you an insight into the mind and how businesses are structured, bringing my 20 years experience in to help you guys pick the best business partnership for you. Okay, let's rattle through these questions, guys. I'm currently using another agent. I'm unhappy with how can I switch. Always a delicate situation when switching agents. We've done it over the last 20 years thousands of times, so we have a nice process for that. Whether you're switching from one agent or another doesn't need to be us. You want the new agent to make it as easy as possible for the old agent. So you don't want any conflict here, guys. And the new agent, and if I use Pillow as an example, we want to make that conflict-free for you guys. So you give us the authorization and we'll deal with your old agent on your behalf. Just give us authorization. Now, one thing we are is very sensitive. It's happened in reverse many times over the years, not so much recently, but in the last 19 years, many times we've had to give keys to another agent and various reasons, some of our mistakes. And we want to make that, it's not a nice process to lose a property to another agent, so we do it sensitively. We make sure we work in conjunction with that other agent and make it super easy for them. Get a cut-off date, but work on your behalf. But we want to become friends with that agent and do it very, very professionally. No gloating, no arguments, no conflict. We are here to help that other agent exit with a limited amount of work, stress and hassle and get that property hopefully switched over to us. But if it doesn't need to be us, but if it's two agents, you want your new agent to be friends with your old agent. You don't want to be bloating. It's not a kudos thing that I got a property and see it, people take to social media all the time. I got a property off that agent. That's amateur stuff. Once you've been in the industry a decade, you no longer think like that. You go with a little bit of respect to the other agent. So that process will be absolutely seamless. I'm not getting into the technical details, but we've done it 1,000 times or so over the years. The next question in the live Q&A. At the moment, I self-manage and I would like to do my own cleaning and check-ins. Is this possible? Yes, for us, we've got the partnership service. We'd mentioned at the start of this training, full management, give the team the keys. You don't need to do anything. You can retire. You get your money once a month. The partnership service, which is 12%, guys, you can take care of all the on-site activities. You can put your personal touch. And I totally get where that question's coming from. It's a partnership service where we get the bookings, we do the finance, we get all the money, we do all the technical stuff. All we do is pass you the guest and you can communicate with them and really drill down on that customer experience on site. If there's any problems, you guys can take care of that. Clean it, do the check-ins if you want. So absolutely you can. We actually love that service because as much as it's great to get properties where we're totally hands-off for the host and deliver maximum value, if you're a host that wants to be involved, you can really, it's so fantastic if you can get that right and you can deliver a great customer experience. You're going to get reviews, you're going to get repeat bookings, you're just going to get the fulfillment. If you can do that well, you are going to, that's your purpose in life, is delivering that great guest experience. We would love to work with you under the partnership service, but it gives you full control of the guest communications at the point of booking and all the guest stuff on site during the stay. And we do the before and after that. So yes, absolutely. Next question from Facebook. Can I test my property with Pillow Partners for a few months to see if serviced accommodation works? The first question, so I'm going to say yes and no. If you want to see how we work as a company, our contracts are very, very, the new ones are going to be very owner friendly. You can test this for 3 months. If it doesn't work out, you can leave. However, don't test a property for 3 months to see if the industry works. If you're saying you're going to test us for 3 months or the industry, probably not a good fit for us and would direct you to another agent. If you're doing this now in February and you've just launched a property, let's say you did it in January, well, you're going to have January, February, and March. Most of the bookings we're going to generate now for you would be in the summer. So you can have 100% occupancy in the summer, but have nothing for the next 3 weeks. That may think, well, I haven't earned any money in the first 2 weeks, so Pillow are bad. It's not a strategy we want to work with people for 3 months. We want you to need to be into this long term, at least this season. We don't expect you to be in it forever, but if you're going to give the industry a test for 3 months, unless you're summer season, we can only open the calendar for the next 3 months if we are only testing it. We can't take bookings ethically for the end of the year if you're only testing for 3 months, because we don't want to take bookings that you might not be able to fulfill. It's going to cost you money. It's going to damage our reputation. It's not going to be good for MD. So we advise people not to test an industry for 3 months. This is something that's going to take at least a year and a season. And guys, you're just don't test it for 3 months. Our contracts are for a few months, so you can exit should we not be the right agent for you. You will need to honour all the future bookings because when you sign up for bookings and depending on your cancellation policies, if we cancel on that guest, it damages our reputation and our standings with Airbnb.com, and it could lose us lots of money. So there might be thousands of pounds in cancellation fees here, guys. If you do decide to try it in month 4, you've got 2 months full of bookings, a full calendar, you need to cancel it. So it's not a wise strategy to do that. Hopefully that makes sense. But guys, as an agent, if we're not a good fit for you, we will let you leave as soon as possible. Bookings dependent there. So guys, don't stress about that, but don't jump into the industry and try it. That's not that. By the time you start spending money in furnishing and get your property ready to go, it's not worth it for 3 months. You need to be in it long term. So make sure that property is right and it is the right strategy for you. If you're worried in any way, that's what our host liaison managers are there for. Book in a call with one of those and they'll advise you and give you a lot more details on this. Right, next question in the live Q&A. I want to switch over my buy-to-let to serviced accommodation. How much will it cost to set the property up and get it ready? I don't know your property, don't know the size, don't know the area, but guys, what I would say here is never underestimate how much these things cost. If you want to provide a quality service, and we're not going to second-hand shops, we're not going to IKEA for this, we're going to get nice properties. So how much would it cost? It could be 5,000, it could be 10,000, it depends on the size of the property. But guys, you're going to need to have initial funds here. You're going to need to pay for things. Some of the legislation, you're going to need to get your property up to a standard much higher than a buy-to-let, for example. You want this really great quality, decent furniture, and you're going to need so many different things. Things I never thought about when I started this off and did my first properties. Well, so long ago, I can't remember. I'm running to shops and getting pillowcases and everything, and things I would never thought about. A serving dish. As a young guy, when I started in 2006, I didn't know what a serving dish was. Didn't even know what a colander. Didn't put a colander in. I had to run and get a colander. So all these things add up. You need this kitted out. If you're in the holiday home market, it needs to be a second home for someone for 2 weeks for a full family. If it's a corporate let, it needs to be executive level. If it's for contractors, it's things that contractors need. So you need to narrow down in your target market, and it really depends. But don't scrimp and save on this. Don't try and do it as a budget because you'll compete with everyone else. But it's going to cost you a lot more than you would initially think. Now, just to finish that segment there and that question, I would say 2 ways to get your furniture, which is a big thing to do. It's a big cost at the start. You can buy it outright, which if you're scaling up and doing multiple properties, is going to eat into your cash flow. If you're only doing one, that might be fine, but you can finance it. So you can get a furnishing company to go in and do it and finance that and pay 150 quid a month rather than 10 grand up front. So various options. Host liaison managers will answer that question in more detail, specific to your property and what you're looking for. Next question. Do I need to be on call 24/7 for my guests? Not for us at Pillow. Our team will do that for you. Your property manager, dedicated property manager, will be there during the day, but it's part of the fully managed service. The whole thing is you give the team the keys and you could retire for a year. You would never need to touch your property. Our property managers across the UK, your local one would look after that for you. And if it rings out more than 5 times, it goes to the backup call answering team. So we've got someone 24/7 and there's never a time it will go to answer phone. So yeah, your guest calls will always get answered. You don't need to do it. Next question. One of your competitors only charged 10%. Will you match this? If so, I will go to Pillow. Probably not the right fit for you, so we're not just going to half our fees just that's probably not the start of a good business relationship for us. So if we're talking about full management, which will be 20%, we're not just going to half our fees. Guys, we've been here for 19 years doing this. If their competitors are half the price, that's probably why. So go back and watch hopefully you've watched the thing that you've seen and get the value. Is it worth paying somebody that's 10%, a couple of £100 a month, or is it better paying Pillow? I want this to be a good fit for you guys, but we're not just going to, it's a wee bit of, not blackmail, but we won't match it. So we're not going to be a good fit for you, unfortunately. If everybody else is paying the standard price, it's just disrespectful to our current owners that someone just gets a massive discount just because it's the threat to go to a competitor. So if it's a good fit for you, we would love to have you. If it isn't, there's many competitors that would charge 10%, and we'll recommend the ones that we think are a great second option. I think I'll make this the last one, guys, just because we're over the hour. Can you guarantee a certain level of income each month? So some people will do rent to rent, where they take your property and give you guaranteed rent for 3 or 5 years. You don't need to worry about that, but you don't get the income of that. You get a fixed price, but you don't get any of that profit. You get what you get. We are just a management company, so we don't do rent to rent, which means you get to get all the profit. So that's different to rent, but do we guarantee a minimum? No, because why? If you were a good agent, somebody said to me last year, actually, well, if you were a decent agent, you'd guarantee a minimum. This other agent would guarantee a minimum. I can't guarantee a minimum. I don't know who you are. Are you going to keep your property maintained? Is that property going to break? Is there going to be a lockdown? Are you going to be a good host that keeps the property looking great? You're going to go to IKEA and buy shit furniture? I don't know your property. I don't know the neighbours. I don't know the market and the economic cycle. That's going to be very different in winter to it is summer. What target market are you going after? You're going after contractors. So the answer to that is no. And if any agent is guarantee a minimum, they can't guarantee that because they don't know who you are. There's so many things out with the control. I can try and guarantee what I can deliver as a company and my team can do, but I don't know who you are. I don't know your property. So it'd be daft for me to do it, and I think it'd be daft for any agent to give minimum returns on a commission-based contract because we don't know how you're going to be as a host. You could be a horror, you could be racist, you could be sexist, you could be turning up with somebody that kept getting in and talking to guests while they were on the bar, the keys, with somebody in a farm that was looking through windows, with somebody that didn't do repairs and said they need to wait a week because they wanted their brother to fix the boiler rather than getting our guy out and didn't want to pay the emergency call-out charge. All these things affect that, guys. So we can't give guaranteed rent, and neither should they. If you want that, give it to someone that wants a rent-to-rent deal, and that we can do because people are always asking us, do we have any properties? So there's a market there to lease your property out to someone that will do rent-to-rent and give you that minimum amount. You don't get the profit on top of that. You're not an operator. You rent that to someone in a long-term lease, and they get to keep the margin, and you get the guaranteed rent. So, guys, that's us. Let's see. Next step to work with us, guys, and that is what we've talked about before. Nice and simple. Book in a call with one of the host liaison managers. These guys are here to answer your questions. You can just book in a call on their link at the time that suits you. Nice 20-minute call. If it's a good fit, they'll pass you to a local property manager. So, guys, that's me. I'm going to do this just over an hour. I've been talking rapid, so I've managed to get this down from an hour and a half to an hour and 10 minutes. Thank you very much. If you submitted questions in the live stream, pre-submitted some questions before if you couldn't make it. If you're watching this on a replay and it's inspired you to think of something you'd like to speak to us about, let the marketing team know, marketing@pillowpartners.co.uk. And if you want, go hosts@pillowpartners.co.uk and we'll get you booked down with one of the team. Thank you very much. Have a fantastic day. Ah, there's somebody saying, I got one comment today. Thank you very much, Maja. That was great. So always love a little bit of audience interaction. So thank you very much. And that has made me finish on a highlight. So thank you, and thank you for your comment. Have a great day, guys. Cheers.